and welcome back to the Carp Shed. I don't know if you can see from outside, it's sunny. I think, and don't hold me to this, but I think spring might have sprung. Welcome all back obviously to the Carp Shed. So the first series went out last Monday, which was me tying the multi-rig. I say it has gone down quite well. I said not as many people flocking to it yet, but I say we all live in hope that something will come of it. But we have had some fantastic feedback. A lot from team members, and obviously from team members' friends, etc. on the bank, and from obviously from Twitter and from Facebook, etc. So really happy for that. It's a tails for wheels, thumbs up from that. What I'm going to do is just take you through very quickly a new topic today for the Carp Shed. I'm going to go through our bait preparation and how I use different baits, etc. In line ready basically for the Cat and Carp and SAS fishing competition next week that Team Catch and Release have been lucky enough to be invited down to. So just going to run through very quickly my basic baits, how I prepare them and how I use them basically. First of all, ever faithful, the Innovate Baits S2T. Absolutely love this stuff. I say luckily enough I've been able to meet the boys from Innovate and they are fantastic lads. Salt of the earth lads, really good. And the bait that I've chosen basically is the S2T, which is a squid and tutti frutti based boilie. Absolutely cracking, really good food base. And I say it smells divine. Basically the reason I'm using it because my syndicate, the boats that you've seen me fish out through the winter diaries, and obviously that I'll be carrying on doing fishing down there, it absolutely destroys the place. They love it there. They love a good fish meal, and they love the fishy sort of oils, etc. So that's why I use that. A few different ways I do use it. I do use it straight out of the bag because it is one of those baits that I've got 100% confidence in using straight out the bag. But what I do, and it's a technique that a lot of people employ nowadays, is I do air dry hook baits. Let me bring them to the camera. So basically what I do, straight out of the freezer bag into a mesh bag. You can get any mesh bag. People use landing net mesh, etc. But I'm a bit tarty and a bit poncy sometimes, so I do use a proper hook mesh bag. Or you can use, do you see them shot, full size bags if you want to air dry bulk, especially if you're going away for like a week trip in France, etc, etc. Biggest thing you've got to make sure you do with these is keep them moving in the bag, because otherwise they stick together, all the fluid and all the water, everything holds in one area, and you can get them going off and they don't dry evenly and you get a soggy spot and you get a dry spot. So basically all I do with these, hook them up, get them in the shed because I'm in here a couple of hours a day messing around or poncing with rigs. And basically all you got to do is just keep the air circulate around them. Depending on how super dry you want them and from when you're going to use them is how long you leave them dry for. I've dried them anywhere up to 2-3 weeks to get them absolutely brick hard, and then you can do a process which I'll go through in a second called rehydration. Or just a week gives a nice coating on them. It means that, you know, especially for overnight, you know they're going to stay on the rig, and especially if you've got any sort of crayfish problems etc in your water, it does help with that. So that's boilies, and as you've seen, I love to just stick them in, get them spread around, and get the fish moving. Another big edge I use is pellets. Absolutely love pellets. PVA stockings full of pellets. Great to mask the hook point so that when you cast into any area, it covers up nice. And also, I have started to use, and I will continue to use them, use PVA bags, proper solid bag systems. Ton bit full of that. Biggest one for using that is Ethan, and so we're hopefully going to get him doing a Carp Shed on his way he ties up his bags. Never seen a man tie it so fast. Drops it in goes the bait, twists, locks, licks it, and out it goes. Great edge. In this bucket is about 9 different types of pellet. Fishy ones, fruity ones, everything. Fast breakdown, slow breakdown, big, small. Basically it's just something different. It really does con the fish. They get occupied by picking up these little bits and pieces, and it just takes their mind off of everything else. They cannot get their mind off of fishing with these. So that's pellets. And then next is something that you see all the top boys using, and it's really, really underrated. And that's, I'll bring it close to the camera. There we are. Stick mixes. Now this is a mix really. It's limited by your imagination. 3 or 4 different types of ground baits. I won't go into which ones because I know the boys from SAS and that lot will be keeping an eye and seeing what we're up to. 3 or 4 different types of ground baits, fish meal ones, basically because I'm a big fish meal lover. Few really small pellets because you don't want anything to snag onto the bag. And then 4 or 5 different types of oils. The one I will give away is salmon oil. I absolutely love salmon oil, and the best place to get a hold of it is, believe it or not, from like an equestrian centre. That's where I get mine from, because they use it for making the horses' coats all shiny. Cracking oil, really strong, really pungent, slicks up the water, and obviously it's a really good carp puller. They absolutely love it. So that's that for that. And yet again, stick mixes, tiny little bags. I've actually got some tied up here actually. That is the size of the bag I use, like 20mm length of bag, and basically pull your rig through, because I'm using the combi rigs. I've got a nice little stiff section to pull through, yank it onto the hook, and I mean, it's fantastic. I know that I can cast that, as long as it's not into ridiculous weed, obviously, because nothing should go in there. It basically, it just gives me the security that I know that that hook is covered. The rig can't spin around and loop around the bend of the hook. So when it hits, and you get that tiny little bag, and, you know, the fish sniff that out from a lot further away, because it can spread a lot faster than the boilie. So that gives out a fast react cloud, and then they home in and they smell your boilie, you sniff them out, and then there's your hook bait, boom, and you've got a fish. Fingers crossed that's what happens. And then sort of a break and a takeout on that is, I've actually become a big user of pastes. And there we are. I won't give away too much ingredients. There's about 14 different ingredients in that little paste. Liquid foods, base mixes, etc, etc. And what I use that for is a picture will flash up hopefully in the next second or two. I use it to wrap around the hook and a bit of the hair. And yet again, it just acts as a sort of anti-tangle, because that bait is so heavy, it can't loop around the hook, etc. Yet again, fast breakdown, gives off a nice big cloud of attraction, and the fish home on it straight away. And then last, but no means least, in my sort of armoury of things, bits and pieces, it's in a nice old tub. Hemp and jumbo maize. The way I prepare this is basically, I've got an old cistern top off of one of these old-fashioned toilets where you pull the chain down and it all empties out. One of them, fill it full of hemp seed, and then half full, pardon me, and then basically top over the top with boiling hot water and a little bit more to shelve it. Add in my extra ingredients like my salts, etc. Cover it with a tub box, and then put a brick on it to stop it, obviously, because when it expands and when it breaks down in the actual boiling water, it does give off gases and can blow the lid off, and that's no good. And obviously stops the rats getting in there. And basically just leave it then for sort of 24 hours. And what you want is, let's see if we can show you now. Let's see, be an extreme close up if we can. But what you want is, you're not going to be able to see it. Basically, you want every single seed to have that little white fleck popped in it. That's where the seed's actually broken. That's where all the goodness comes through. My favourite ingredients is that. Loads of chilli, and because I'm a chef, obviously, 100% chili oils I can use. That goes in there. And then just 2 or 3 handfuls of jumbo maize from any company. And that then, through that mix, you can see, what I use this for is a carpet feed, you know. That will get fish rooting around, keep them in the area. If I know that they're in an area, a marginal area especially for stalking, 2 or 3 handfuls of that, a couple of chopped up boilies. I mean, the fish can pick out the chopped up boilies and the little bits of yellow corn. They can visually see it. It's a really good attractor. So that's the basic rundowns of the baits that I use and how I apply them. So boilies in a stick really is my favourite option. Spread them around, get them feeding around. But any of the sort of the stick mixes and the pastes, so they're applied with other tactics. I like to use them with all of the tactics, whether it's spread boiling or whether it's area sort of blanket feeding. And yet again, any particles and anything, this has got to be the weapon. I've been using this now for a couple of years. Spods, pardon me, were great, but I was never very good with them, to be honest. The spods spill everywhere, etc, etc. Yes, you can combat it, and people do still love them. But for me, the spom is the weapon of choice. I mean, it hits the deck, breaks open, and more to the point, the retrieve is nice and easy because it just skips across the water. So, there we are. That's the sort of carp shed for this week. Baiting. I mean, you can use all the best tactics, the best rigs in the world, unless you've got a quality food source supplied in the right location, it ain't going to happen for you guys. So there we are, that's this week's Carp Shed. Next one will be from the bank, really, at the Cat and Carp Catch and Release and SAS fishing competition down at Oak Lakes. So hopefully get 2 or 3 of us and 2 or 3 of the boys, or maybe all of us, to sort of put our input in. And the other big thing I want to say is big thumbs up for Ethan, who's fishing the BCAC. Ethan in Pursuit, that's a massive event for him personally, but obviously to have a Team Catch and Release member in such a prestigious event is massive for us. So good luck for that, and hopefully the next time you see us we'll be on Carp Shed and we'll be holding a cup of victory on the Cat and Carp Catch and Release and SAS fishing competition. Until later, ladies and gentlemen, there they are, Team Catch and Release. #Carp Shed.